Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's time for another episode of Fantasy Football Harsh Reality. I am your host, as always, Greg Romero, with some fan of America's team, the greatest team of all time, the Dallas Cowboys, who returned to championship form this week. Although I wish I could be said for the Midnight Cowboys, my three fantasy teams. As you know, last week I was 3-0 for the first time this season. And I really thought Adrian Peterson was missing link. It really was last week. And in fact, last week, in one of my leagues, David Ajayi, Howard, Jordan Howard, and Adrian Peterson. And all three of them went over 100 yards for that team. This week, Bupkis. Not one of them could generate shit. I swear to God, if your name isn't Le'Veon Bell or fucking Melvin Gordon, you ain't doing shit this year. Or like even LaShawn McCoy, and actually both LaShawn McCoy and Melvin Gordon have had some pretty off games, to be perfectly honest. So I mean, there's no, but to all three, I had to shit back. Now here was the interesting part. I'll tell you this. I didn't go 0-3 this week. I went 0-2-1. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I achieved the mysterious, rare statistical tie. No joke, 90.1 to 90.1. And this is an almost numerical impossibility that we achieved here. And here's what happened. It all came down to Monday night to the game with between Washington and the Eagles, and it came down to he had Carson Wentz and Wendell Smallwood. And I thought Wendell Smallwood was his huge mistake, because he had planned to play Cooper Kupp, then he went with Smallwood. I'm like, Smallwood? I mean, I know he's back, but I could do shit with him. Blunt has been running the ball incredibly, so it would seem more Blunt. But no. Somehow he had some magic inside information from the Philadelphia Eagles that said, we're not going to go with what obviously works. No! We're the Eagles. We're just going to go with this guy for some reason, and we're going to throw all the balls to him in the first half. So while I had a 25-point lead going into the game, and Nelson Aguilar, everything in the first half and the second, really finally Aguilar got going. He scores a touchdown, but then Carson Wentz throws another touchdown. I'm like, I'm dead. There's no way I won this game. Here's how I didn't lose the game. Here's how, and this is the ridiculousness, the total lunacy of why I love and hate fantasy football at the same time. Because while I was pissed that I didn't win the game, apparently the only reason I didn't lose the game was because when Carson went out there to kneel down the ball to end the game, he backed up a yard. That took off 0.1 points, knocking it from a 90.2 victory to a 90.1 tie. So really, I got lucky that I didn't lose. The other two games, I needed a huge game from Alshon Jeffrey, and I don't know why I should even expect it anymore. I know, sure, we see it with other receivers out of nowhere. I mean, look at Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper has done nothing but eat donkey dicks all season long, dropped 3 fucking consecutive passes in the end zone at the beginning of the season, and then all of a sudden, pew, he explodes for 210 yards and 2 touchdowns and 50 fucking points in fantasy. So let me tell you, and that's why sometimes you just got to keep going, because I know 90% of Amari Cooper owners benched him unless they had to play him for a bye week. He was on the bench. In 2 out of 3 leagues, he was on the bench. In 1 league he played, and that guy had a killer fucking week. Derek Carr, there's another one who's been sucking donkey dicks. I benched Derek Carr. I played Mariota because Mariota was up against the Cleveland Browns. The Browns. They're still the Browns. And it's not like they've gotten any better. They're back to the quarterback that they originally benched, the rookie, Deshaun Kaiser. So it should have been a solid game for the Titans, defensively and offensively, even though I know the Browns' defense is much better than their record. Boy, they proved that. I mean, they made Derrick Henry and DeMarco Murray both look like garbage. They shut them down. And to be honest, I was considering playing Derrick Henry because I know that DeMarco Murray's a little bit banged up. And so I thought, versus Cleveland, he might have a huge game. Luckily, I didn't. Now, one of the games I could have won, I woke up Sunday morning, right? Okay. Are you like me? Do you wake up and your gut is like, you got to make a change? But I don't know about you, but 99.9% of the time when I make that change, it fucks me in the butt. Now, all week long, I decided to play the New Orleans defense in Green Bay over the Seattle defense in New York. Even though it's Seattle, I knew would do great. I mean, if you looked at what had been happening in New Orleans, they got 30 points, then 35 points, then 40 points. I mean, they've been going up and up and up, and now they're against Huntley, which, granted, I mean, he was not drafted to be the heir apparent. He was drafted to be a backup. He is not first-class talent. So I was expecting them to just beat the fuck out of this guy. But they were still in Green Bay. He had that first game fucking energy. And in the first half, he was moving that ball and scored 2 fucking touchdowns on a defense that should have been able to rattle his cage with some exotic blitzes. In the second half, they shut him down to 3 points. They only scored 3 points, and they ended up winning the game. But that was but that point they got me 8 lousy defensive points. I don't know. I don't think they got any sacks, maybe 1 sack. I expected like 6 or 7 sacks. I expected them to really give him a hard time. And I'll tell you this, I would look forward to the next team that plays the Green Bay Packers to actually really get to Huntley and bother him, because now I think his cage is a little rattled after he got completely shut down in that second half and saw what NFL football is really all about. But yeah, man, the Raiders, they finally fucking showed up. And it raises an interesting question. Okay, here's the question. Is this, I mean, because this was the Derek Carr that I drafted him to be. He got 37 points. He threw for over 400 yards, 4 TDs. This is who I drafted. And if you drafted Derek Carr, this is the trajectory you expected from him. And he hasn't come near it. Then, of course, I bench him. And again, as I've said before, anytime I bench a player, that's the surest bet that they're about to explode. Patience is my problem. But again, if you look at the matchups, him versus Kansas City, which, again, now we got to look at the Kansas City defense. First, they got rolled last week by San Diego, I think it was. But they got rolled last week. Now they got rolled again by the Raiders. I feel like without Eric Berry, this defense, this Kansas City Chiefs defense is not the defense they were just a few short games ago. When they opened this season, they were an incredible defense. Now they're losing games. So I don't know. That game really blew. So that's the question. Is this the Derek Carr that we've been waiting to see? Or was this just a Thursday night fluke? Which is the other thing about Thursday nights. They're different from every other night, especially even Monday nights. Because Monday night you actually get extra rest. Thursday night you have less rest. I don't know, man. I mean, now I got to play Derek Carr. And you know he's not going to do it again next week. You know he's going to suck next week. He's going to totally butt fuck me. And remember I said about what's his name? Marshawn Lynch being basically a professional football tourist. How he's just wearing the uniform and having fun. I think that was no more evident than he just decided to run off the bench, fucking get in the way in the middle of this fracas and manhandle a ref. That's when you really don't give a fuck. He's like, oh, I'm out for a game? I don't care. I'm just here to have fun. So this week, that's the one waiver wire to get to this week is Jalen Richard, because obviously he's going to be the starter next week. But really, there's not a lot out there on the waiver wire at this point, and that's the thing. It's time to start making trades. I actually put Tom Brady on the waiver wire, although right now, because he just is coming off 2 mediocre games, he's a buy low option, and honestly, the offers aren't that high. A week ago, I could have gotten Melvin Gordon. This week, I can't get any. Someone offered me Jimmy Graham. I was like, get the fuck out of here. I literally typed as many ha-ha-has as you can in the reply box and sent it. Fucking dick. Jimmy Graham for fucking Tom Brady. Suck my dick. The greatest of all time for Jimmy Graham. Anyways. Well, you know what? I'll just have to. And the thing is now, because I haven't backed up with. The problem is I haven't backed up with Dak Prescott, who got 37 points. And in the other league with Kirk Cousins, who got 31 points. You know, I think now it's just going to be a matchup thing, and I'm going to have to look for the right opportunities. Like I did last year when I won a championship, switching both Matt Ryan and Andrew Luck back and forth, depending on which one I thought was going to have the bigger game. So that's what you got. All right. So that's what's up with them. Ravens, Minnesota. Ravens, another one, 16-24. Now, Latavius Murray. Now, fuck you. There we go. There's a big fuck you. First, fuck you to Amari Cooper for finally showing up. And fuck you to Derek Carr, same thing. And now, fuck you to Latavius Murray and the entire Minnesota organization. Here, Jerick McKinnon's been fucking balling out for you, helping you win games. And then you're like, you know what, Latavius? And the problem is Latavius did great. That's the problem. Fuck you, Latavius. He did great. which means there's not. I don't know that they're going to go back to the McKinnon days. Now they're going to try and use the Thunder and Lightning, and so now. And again, I don't know how much of it's going to be all fucking Latavius Murray now going for it. Latavius Murray, they're McKinnon owners because now we don't know who do what now. So, but Latavius Murray owners are now going to load him up, and I think they're both. You're going to put in that flex box and hope for the best. Saints versus Packers. Saints finally shutting them down with the defense in the second half. I was very disappointed with that. Oh, man. And if you played Jordy Nelson, like I did, hoping that somehow they would still get Jordy Nelson the ball. I think he gave it 1 point, 1.5. It was fucking awful. Beep, beep, boop, 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 boop. Dolphins and Jets, 31-28. Listen, McCown's having a very efficient year. He's not amazing. He's not doing great. But I'll tell you what, he's gotten his team in there. 31-28. He reminds me of Hoyer. We'll talk about Hoyer in a minute when we get to my Dallas Cowboys. All right. But Jay Cutler has been injured. I had a big fuck you for Jay Cutler the last couple of weeks. I fucking hate him. I wish he would go back into retirement. And the amazing thing is Matt Moore came in and actually looked like a pretty decent quarterback and helped them win that game. They were doing nothing with Cutler. They got 31 points with fucking Matt Moore. They should have had him in there the whole time. Fuck Jay Cutler. 31-28. And listen, the Jai has yet to score a touchdown. He's had 2 100-yard games, 0 touchdowns through 7 weeks. If you're like me and you were gung-ho to have him, but hopefully this Matt Moore thing kind of helps out Jay Ajayi, and I hope it does. But at this point, I don't know, and he needs to help himself out and just run better. How about that? Forte is turning into a bit of a value. He's hit double-digit points, I think, in 5 out of 7 games now. He got 10 points in this one. I mean, they're using him. They're getting him out there. ASJ, I think he came through with 1 touchdown. So, I mean, that guy, I like ASJ. I mean, considering how bad and inconsistent all these tight ends have been, it's pretty good. Like me some Austin Seferian-Jenkins. Ladies and gentlemen, Austin Seferian-Jenkins. It sounds like a guy that plays a jug, but like expert level jug. I'm Austin Seferian-Jenkins, come from down Hanky Pankins. I don't know. All right, let's move on. Panthers and Bears. The fuck is going on with the Panthers? Cam Newton, you get a big fat fuck you. You fucking son of a bitch. What is wrong with you? You can't, I don't know. He started off cold, then he got hot, and now he's ice again. The Bears defense looked fantastic. I actually know somebody that played the Bear defense. I was like, what the fuck, the Bears defense? Are you out of options? Hey, boy, did I learn. I think they wound up scoring like 45 points on the day, something like that. Cam Newton, I don't know, fuck you. And that's the question. Is the Bears defense this good? Or is Cam Newton that fucked in the head? More Howard. Can we just get more Howard? Just run fucking Howard. Who knows what these guys are doing? He threw a touchdown. Oh, I like Trubisky. Look at Trubisky coming out, doing a nice, efficient job, getting the job done. Looking a little bit like a Carson Palmer in in his good days, or Alex Smith, doing a nice job of game managing, not doing too much, but getting the job done. They aren't gaudy numbers, but very good numbers. I think it was something like only like 225 yards, but 3 TDs. So he had a very good, or not 3 TDs, 2 TDs. So I mean, hey, good day. 17-3. Hey, listen, but more Howard. Again, Howard didn't get it in the end zone. He didn't fucking run over 100 yards. I don't know what's going on. Speaking of what's going on, can we please, for the love of God, stop going to London? And here's the other thing. And I think this is the lesson, because we all saw Adrian Peterson go fall right back down to earth. But listen, when the whole offense scores 0, it's not just Adrian Peterson. I mean, they were doing terrible with what's his name in there, with Carson Palmer in there. And then, of course, they did even worse when Stanton came in. But I think it has to do with rest. Old people need rest. Trust me. It's complete truth. Old people need rest. And when they travel to London, they get weird rest. Their time's all off. They're jet lagged. And I think you saw that when you saw a very young Rams team come out looking full of piss and vinegar, and an old-ass Cards team who looked like they were trudging through a fucking swamp. It was awful. fuck? And they got another London game this week. What are we doing? Stop it! So, hopefully AD or AP, whatever you want to call him, hopefully he rebounds this week. But it's going to be tough on me because they got to rely on the run now, which when you stack the box, is a very difficult day for Adrian Peterson. But when you have backup quarterback, what the fuck do you think they're going to do? Adrian Peterson, in my mind, just slid down from RB2, saving Greg's season status, to flex at best. Because it's going to be tough sledding for Adrian Peterson. They're going to stack the box a lot and force Stan to throw. Oh, poof! The dream evaporated just like that. All right. Rams defense, listen. They're the worst. I love it. Everyone's like, if he can't run, they're the worst run defense. Are they the worst? Let's look at the Rams defensive fantasy numbers. 15, 12, 15, 31, 35. Okay. Listen, they're not the worst run defense, okay? Maybe some guys got some yards, had some big days against them, but this is a very good defense, especially when they're across the pond in another country, halfway around the world against a bunch of old fucks who didn't get a good night's rest. What? This fucking shit. What a fucking weekend. So fucking losing it, man. All right, Bucks versus Bills. Bills pulled it out 30-27. Like Mike Evans, if you don't have Antonio Brown, Mike Evans is the next best thing. Even when he's covered by Xavier Rhodes, Patrick Peterson, it doesn't matter. This guy produces, and I fucking love it. I wish I had him last year. I won a championship with last year. I should have just kept him as my fucking keeper for my first round. Should have just done it. Should have kept fucking, yeah, that's what I should have done. But I wanted J.J. I thought the guy was going to be monstrous. Jags v. Colts. The Jaguars did exactly what we all thought they would do. An incredible defense versus a completely fucked up offense. 27-0. There were 3 shutouts this weekend in the NFL. 3. There have been 0 all season. That was fucked up. And they did it without Fournette. But that was the problem with Fournette. As you've said many times, it's just a matter of time before he gets hurt. This is what he does. And sure enough, bada bing, bada boom. There he is. Fournette on the sideline with a hurt ankle. Fournette, what is your problem, huh? You cannot run the whole time. You cannot make a whole season. By the way, I'm Mexican. I'm a little black. Titans versus the Browns. Oh, my God. Okay. The fuck, Titans. 12-9. And let me tell you something. Ryan Suckup is the king. He is the king of kickers this year. I thought it'd be Matt Prater. It's not Matt Prater. It is Ryan Suckup. Because as it turns out, the Titans is the best team at getting all the way to the other side of the field and not scoring. And that's what you're looking for. And it's a rare combination to have a team that is good enough to get to the other side of the field, but not good enough to ever score. Mariota looked super hurt. Give a hoot, Mariota. But he looked real hurt. Didn't look good. Oh, the Cowboys versus the Niners. Did you guys see the quote from Kyle Shanahan at the beginning of the game where he's like, I'm tired of getting pity. I'm tired of getting sympathy for almost winning games. Oh, guess what? You're not going to get any this week because you got fucking ass handed to you. Why? Why doesn't anyone believe in Hoyer? Nobody believes in this guy. And he's not great, but I mean, he's good. And he's this close to winning games. What's but instead you're like, no, let's put in Brethard or Bretard or what. I don't fucking know his name. But there you go. Now you lost 40-10. I wish it had been 40-9 because they're the 49ers. That would have been delicious. But no, 40-10. Put Hoyer back in. Let him fit. You guys quit fucking around. I felt like if you're watching it, and the reason I didn't play Dak in fantasy, because I felt like with the weight of these appeals and everything off of the shoulders for now of Zeke, I felt like he was finally going to run wild, and he did. And I felt like that being the case, they would just, salt away the clock, and he wouldn't have to pass. But somehow Dak still managed to pass for 4 fucking touchdowns and put up 37 points. Which, if I played him, I would have won. But I didn't, so I'm a fucking loser. Bengals steal. But listen, it was glorious. I got drunk. I partied. I was going bonkers. And listen, Cowboys fans needed it. They needed one good, real deep win. So I got, you can't stop me. I'm fucking giving it to ya. Not in a bad, but in a football way. In a prison way. You know, man to man, that's what I mean. But against his will. Okay. A lot of this isn't going to look good out of context. Bengals versus Steelers. Steelers getting the job done. I knew they'd have a big bounce back after getting rolled last week. Were they, anyways? Good game for them. Great game for decent game for Ben Roethlisberger. 29-14 again. Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell. Some very predictable guys in there. Steelers were due for a bounce back, and they got it. Seahawks, Giants. We still don't know what's going on. They're still not an RB you can trust in Seattle. I was hoping they'd come out of that bye week and have a little something for us. Like, oh yeah, no, here comes fill in the blank. But no, little taste of Rawls, a little bit of Lacy, a tiny bit of McKibben. Fucking Jesus Christ. It's like they don't even care about fantasy football. It's like getting the win was enough. 24/7. Giants, listen, if you're playing any of the Giants, you're desperate, and you're probably not going to win anything this year anyway. So you could just fucking kill yourself. Browns versus Chargers, including Giants fans. You guys are fucked. Browns versus the Chargers, or Broncos rather. Broncos, another shutout, 21-0. And the Chargers defense, are they that good? 45 fucking points. And listen, this goes right back to what I was saying about Trevor Siemian. This is why I don't pick him up. This is why nobody drafts him. Trevor Siemian's Danny White. He's not a winner. He's not a champion, rather. I mean, he's a winner. I think he's a good quarterback. He's good enough to beat the other guys in the practice, in preseason. But when it comes to winning games, he doesn't have it. And you know what it is? It's his last name. It's too much like Seaman. It's just he ain't. When you grow up, like going, oh, Seaman, okay. I'm sorry, you're not a winner. Falcons versus Patriots. The Patriots defense showed up. But once again, Tom Brady looked very human. And I don't need human Tom Brady. I need fucking Giselle supermodel banging Tom Brady. That's what I need. I need the fucking 5 touchdown, 400, 500-yard Tom Brady, and I ain't getting it. And no one's biting on him, even as trade bait. I'm not getting the fucking things I need. So you know what? I'm gonna roll with him. I'm gonna roll, which is what I really want to do anyway. Although I did put in a trade offer for Le'Veon Bell to a guy that absolutely needs a decent quarterback, but I don't think he's gonna give it to me because his whole team is Le'Veon Bell. So what good would it do him to trade for a quarterback? Yeah, so those Chargers, man. Listen, I mean, Keenan Allen didn't have a great game, but he had a decent game. Phillip Rivers. He's Phillip Rivers. This is one of the weeks that he did right by you. Next week he'll do wrong by you. That's just Phillip Rivers. And again, oh man, there's one guy who's a big Chargers fan here in my production office, and he's already saying the Chargers are going to beat New England in New England next week. And the problem is I can't say he's necessarily wrong. I can't say that Brady, they're going to show him what's what, because I really don't know at this point. And then of course we closed out Redskins Eagles. Thank you, Carson Wentz, for fucking taking one step back to kneel down, because that saved me from a triple loss, 2 losses, 1 tie, ladies and gentlemen. So that team, hey, listen, I'll take it. It's better than a loss. We'll take that team needed it super bad anyway. So, and it's funny, in one league, we're all bunched up at 4-3, so much so that I went from 2nd place in our league to 7th place in our league. So, because they have more points. My team hasn't been scoring that many, but it had more wins, and now we're all tied up. So, going into this week, listen, Wendell Smallwood, if he's still out on your waiver wire, pick him up. Obviously, Jalen Richard, because there will be no Marshawn Lynch this week. He's suspended for being a fucking tourist. Stay home, Marshawn. If you're not going to play with heart and try to win the game and try and get to the end zone, just fucking stay home. So, and also, listen, Butker in Kansas City, he's doing pretty good with them kicks. He's a good option if you got to stream a kicker. All right, guys. That's it. Follow me on Twitter at the Greg Wilson. I'm also trying to get a stand-up special on Netflix, so be sure and tweet it, the top pin tweet if you could retweet it, or do a tweet with hashtag Give Greg a Damn Special. That'd be awesome. So tweet me at the Greg Wilson, retweet the one off the top, And other than that, you guys, listen, good luck this week. And this week, I know the last 2 weeks I've been really bad about putting up the preview show for the week because I've just been so busy working on this other show, the game show, Funny You Should Ask, which I hope you're watching. Check your local listings. Probably on in the afternoon. Funny You Should Ask every day. It's a funny game show based on stand-up comedy. So be sure and check that out. But yeah, so I was so busy, I just haven't had a chance to do it. And it's like on Saturday, it's like too late on Saturday. So this week, I'm going to try and do it on Thursday. Do it before that big Thursday game. All right, you guys, everyone, good fantasy footballing out there. Take care. Be safe.